Hey, hello again. Lost down there in that vast runway is the Beech Baron from Simcoders and Caronado. And this is sort of in response to some emails I got after my landing tutorial in the last video. And they mainly ran along the lines of, yeah, nice video, Takeoff. Now, can you land it in bad weather? And of course the answer is probably not. But in any case, we're going to try. We're going to fly a very short flight. We're at Vandenberg here, and we're going to go to Santa Barbara. It's 40 miles away. It's going to be a little hop. And I'm going to actually give most of the same advice I gave during the last one, and that is this. Use an appropriate level of automation. Let the autopilot do the work you need to do. Use the flight director if you're not using the autopilot, and only fly absolute total raw data using the glide slope and the localizer information if you totally, completely have no choice. Because there's really, when it comes right down to it, well, there's a reason why when my buddy who flies for an airline does his 6-month simulator check after simulating all sorts of other odd and esoteric failures, frequently the very last thing on the item is to fly a raw data, in other words using only either this or using the little glide slope indicator here and localizer here, is to fly a raw data ILS or LPV approach, because people tend to fuck it up. So when you're talking to ATC or fake ATC, when you're managing the airplane, when you're looking at your plate, when you're juggling frequencies and doing all the rest of that, if you're flying entirely by hand and you're flying entirely on raw data, there's a much greater chance that you're going to forget this little guy right here. Oops. Or you'll be misconfigured, or you'll make a wrong turn, or something like that, or you'll let your airspeed slip because you're focusing on that, and the rest of your scan will suffer because you're riveted on this. So what we're going to do is let the autopilot configure the airplane, get it trimmed out, get it lined up, get it going down, and then and only then are we going to fly it ourselves. And what we're going to do is we're going to fly the flight director because it will incorporate this. So instead of having to do a lot of attitude scanning and back to here and back to here and back to here along with everything else we do in whatever scan pattern you choose, and there are books written on the different ways of scanning instruments. If you're flying at raw data on here, you're going to have to do a lot more glancing up here to make sure your attitude is fine, and back and back and back and back and back, and it takes up bandwidth. Whereas if you're flying the flight director, automatically this becomes then a backup, and this becomes a confirming check, and this becomes a confirming check, just like it's supposed to. They become less life or death, and they become more sanity check. I'm following the bars. Am I on the right glide path? Am I lined up? Am I at the altitude where I need to be at the point that shows right here at the distance I'm at, etc., 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 etc. Whereas if you're flying raw data and you're configuring the plane and you're talking to ATC, potentially some of this stuff is going to suffer because you don't have enough bandwidth to deal with it, mental bandwidth. So that's how we're going to do it, and that will make our job a whole lot easier, in my opinion. I'm set up for the LPV GPS approach instead of the ILS approach only because sometimes in X-Plane and Flight Sim the radio nav aids don't necessarily, they're just a little bit off from the scenery, whereas in my experience at least the GPS approaches are bang on. So we are going to fly this approach over Gaviota, over these hills right here, and turn in right here onto runway 7. So let's have at it. Also, I'm going to set my altimeter, which should be 3009. It is vital to set your altimeter right. And we're also just, as a test of the plane and the electronics and myself, if we find ourselves at minimums, we're not going to go missed. You should go missed, obviously. You have to go missed, obviously. But we're not, just so we can see what we can do. So let me get the airplane back into the right mode, and it is. Get our heading bug squared up, and we'll take off in nav mode. It's fine. We're practically on the course we're leaving on anyway. We're squawking fine. Our prop and mixtures full. Our lights are on. Turn the parking brake off. Unfortunately, the brakes don't pop them off the way they should. Flaps are set. Trim is set. Rudder trim is neutral. You know what? Let's arm 5,000 feet. We don't have to go up that high. It'll be a very short flight. It's mainly going to be to get us established onto our approach. So essentially we're going to go, if you can see right here, I'm going to take off from Vandenberg. We're going to go to a Foxy and turn, and we're done. We need to be at Etcheva at 2800 or above. Naps is our final approach fix. We have to be at 1800 or above. We will be fully configured between here and here as part of my philosophy, unless you need to go unbelievably fast to accommodate ATC. There's no reason not to get fully configured right here. We're close to it. You know, get everything squared away. We'll probably get fully configured more like here. But, alright. We'll sort of play that one as it lies. So, nav mode, altitude armed, all my temps are good, oil pressure is there, everything is fine. Alright, so away we go. I love this plane. It helps to love the plane you're in too. Helps you fly better, I think. What also helps is airspeed alive, there's 80, and up we go. Bit of a wind, and as you can see, we're probably going to have enough runway to get us all the way to Santa Barbara. Okay, gear can come up. I'm just going to follow the flight director here. And into the shit we go. Okay, flaps can come up. go. Got a little bit
Don't
of
sink.
got a little bit of a downdraft in those clouds. Look at that. All right, so now what I am going to do is ask why we're not on course. Sure, nav mode is engaged. And we're in GPS mode, are we? Yes, we are. And now I'm not following the flight director right now. I'm following the HSI. And I'm trying my damnedest to come in on our course. Because it is not right. So what I'm going to do right now is roll wings level, set our heading right here. I'm going to pop this into heading mode. I'm going to let it fly. Turn on the autopilot, turn on the yaw damper. It engages with typical abruptness. Get us back in our climb here. All right, and now going to activate our approach, and I'm going to see if that fixes the problem. We're now direct to a Foxy, and yes, we are direct to a Foxy. That's good. And I can tell this is getting started out on the wrong foot. So what I'm also going to do, because I'm a sneaky little bastard, is I'm going to make sure that our ILS is set up. And I think I know what the problem is. I want to think I know what the problem is, and I think the problem is that for some godforsaken reason, this is receiving the no, I don't know. Let's see. No, it's all I know is, as you can see right here, it is not flying. Okay. I was flying towards it in heading mode, hoping that it would come in. It is not. Alright. And you can see this is not really displaying what it should be displaying. It should be displaying, this needle should be displaced over here as we fly towards it. This is the desired track we want to pick up, C089, and the head is pointing to it. We are to the right of it, so this should be deviated over to this side. Now, I wonder if, as we get closer to this is going to start to deviate this way. If that's the case, then it's just something's wired funny, and we'll figure it out. In any case, we can come down to 4,400 once we get to a Foxy. So we're at 5 now. Let's first of all see if the autopilot levels us off. I'm just going to get a prop synced up right here. And I'm going to come to cruise power. About there. I'm going to dismiss that. We are turning onto course, and this thing is still screwy. Alright. Bring our props down. Get them synced up. There we go. Alright. Well, to be on the safe side here, we're going to get our heading bug set. We are turning onto the correct track, as you can see right here, and as you can see right here, and you can see right here. We're at the right altitude. This is my backup ILS that I can fly if I need to. This is raw data. And I've also got it set up to display on here if I have to, and I can couple it to the autopilot if I have to. Alright, so we are now inbound. Inbound to Foxy. We're 9.8 miles away. We can get 4,400 set. And then, once we turn at a Foxy, I'm going to, although we're not going to fly it, no, you know what? When we hit our when we hit Echeva, that's when I will spin the decision, the altitude alerter all the way down so that it captures our pseudo glide slope. And as you can see, this course deviation thing is still stuck. So I'm going to briefly pop us into heading mode real quick, and I'm going to try and troubleshoot the problem. So we've got 6.6 miles to go. I don't want to just screw up the sequencing here. So we will go into heading mode, and we'll very quickly switch this. Nope. Ah, there we go. Boom. No. It's still screwy. It knows what to do, as you can see right here, but it's just not presenting it, which is too bad. Alright. So we're now, what, about 4 miles from a Foxy. 4.4. We are 23 from the end of the runway. And we are right here on our plate. We're coming in this way. And then we're going to... oh, you know... I think I also see what is wrong. No, that's fine. So there we go. Okay, so we're going to make our turn. We'll come down to 4,400, and we can start doing it now. And if worst comes to worst, yeah, you see, this shouldn't even be allowed to move this way. And now it's grabbing it. You see, it's supposed to be slave to it, and it is. Alright, after a Foxy, we can, after Rimvi, we can come down to 2,800. Get that set in a second. As soon as we hit 4,400, let's just steepen our descent a little bit. I'm going to roll off the power. Start to slow us down. And this is why that altitude restriction is there. Take a look. I'm surprised we can see it, actually. Alright, so again, what we've got here is a failure to communicate. We are displaying fine, we're flying fine, but this little sucker is screwy, and I hope it's not screwy for our arrival. Alright, so we're at 4,400. It is holding it. That is good. And in a second we can start coming down. Okay, so once we hit Rimvi, and it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a crosswind from our left, perhaps, when we land. Alright, so I'm tuned up on my backup instrument, so if this is busted, we're going to use this. We'll fly our flight director with reference to this instead, so that'll be fun. Trim our rudder a little bit. Alright, how far? Okay, there we go. We can start coming down. Okay, 2800. And we want to be 2800 at Etcheva. And then from there, 1800. Alright, at this point, my prop sync is out. I dial back the power to about 18 inches. I'm going to steepen our descent a little bit here. Trim our rudder. By the way, once we get to 152, we can bring in gear if we want to. Okay, so up come the props. I just even them out. Alright, we're making our turn at Etcheva, so we can come down to 1800, so let's do that. There we go. Alright, now with any luck, this is going to start to come in. But it's not. Alright, so let's do this. Let us switch over. I'll get out of the GPS approach. Let us get into out the power here. Let me just get our heading bugs squared away. Let's go into heading mode real quick. Switch over. There. Good. And we're below the glide slope and we're lined up. Good. Alright. Good. So we're gonna fly the ILS approach instead. Alright, we'll get into our nav mode. That's gonna acquire the localizer. Let us level off right now. We're 9 miles out, and NAPS is 4 miles out. Let's level off here and we'll intercept the glide slope just a little bit early. Not like that. Alright, so here comes our glide slope, and here we go. Alright, so we will pop into approach mode right now. Get our approach mode set, and it's going to start us down. Let's get our gear out. Get 1 notch of flaps out, and now let's get our power set. Alright. There we go. Alright, we're 6.8 miles from the field. And the raw data actually shows we're a little bit low. And now we're set, and you want to fly the plane? Let's fly the plane. So now we're configured. Now we just fly the plane. Making minor trim changes now. I'm going to add a little bit of power. We're just a little slow. Okay, we're 5.7 miles away. We're 1,500 feet. That's where we should be. Going to bring in my last notch of flaps here. I'm mainly flying the flight director, and I'm confirming it with my raw data, and I'm scanning my rate of descent and keeping an eye on my airspeed, which is getting a little fast, but with the final notch of flaps, it is going to slow down a bit. Okay, we're coming down at 500 feet per minute, which is perfect. Just a little bit high. Now we're just a little bit low. I'm making some trim adjustments here. Okay, 1,100 feet at 4 miles, that's good. Adding a little bit of power. Okay, my airspeed's good. 700 feet at 3.4 miles, that's good. So far we're in the slot. Notice how I'm not making hardly any changes to anything. Okay, 600 feet, 2.9 miles. Just a little on the high side.
500.
Okay, 500. Still looking reasonably good. We're just drifting a little bit left. I was leaning on my rudder. I'm going to neutralize my rudder. Alright, now let's see how well the scenery lines up, because we're dead bang on right now. Okay, 300 feet. I'm not going to look. Not going to look till minimums. Okay, minimums. Nothing. There we go. There's the runway. There we go. And once again, we're now at the mercy of X-Plane's ground handling. So now I'm going to screw it up. So I guess that was a good example of switching to Plan B. We were going to fly the GPS approach. It wasn't presenting correctly for whatever reason. And so we switched over to the ILS. And had it on the backup here, switched over to the backup, and went about our business. And because we've been flying, letting the autopilot do appropriate parts of the flying, everything was Jake. Whereas if we'd been juggling, configuring the airplane and hand flying it, at that point we wouldn't be able to hand fly the approach. We'd get ourselves into some sort of trouble and we'd be screwed. Anyway, because people just want to see the replay, let's show them that. And now let's show them that from...
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
No, not that. Alright, let's see. Where are we? That's not the right place. We'll get there. For some reason the course...
500.
The course is not what it should be, but anyway. So you can see we're in the slot here. I can't... Can I adjust the course? No, I can't. Alright, well anyway, you can see our needle is not deviated. You can see we're flying the flight director. We're coming down at good rate of speed, and you can see we're at 15 inches and we're not budging. And 15 inches is yielding us 550 feet per minute at about that speed. And look at that, 200 feet on the money, and there's our runway. So we flew that right down to legal minimums. And I don't know about you, but that kind of feels fun. That was nice. Alright, now let's see it emerging from the muck.
Terrain ahead.
Ah, why did it do that? We're definitely screwing with X-Plane here. I've apparently broken it. Oh wait, there's the scenery. Well, I've broken everything. Totally broken it. Alright, well, anyway, on that note, oh wait, oh, there's the airport. Maybe, okay, I haven't broken it. Now, I want to just go right there. These click spots, there we go. Alright, let's get our asses up into the clouds.
Don't sink.
No,
Don't sink.
not going to sink, don't worry.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Hang on a second. It does this on replays.
Sink.
Stop with the sinking here. Alright, you. GTN trainer, shut up. Alright, there we go. That should do it. Alright, so. This is our view. Wow. This is our view from the tower. That's pretty goddamn cool. Alright, and here we come. This is GPB 500s. Look at that. That's cheating. You can actually see it there. There's only one way we can get the true shitty visibility, and that is with the Hawaii 5-0 shot. It's the only way. Nothing to do about it. It's the only way. There we go. Somewhere in the muck are we. Look at that. This is fun. Oh my God, Rush, one of the guys who built this plane, is online right now. It is, well, let's just say it's very late at night. Ooh, right on the center line. Look at that. And it disappears into the fog. And on that beautiful note, I hope that helps you in your flying, and again, keep the suggestions coming, and see you again real soon. Bye-bye.